we fellas, we need to start to pay a little bit of attention to the Pac-12. And it's a shame that we got to say that already, but they have not been in the playoffs since 2014. And for the last 7, 8 years, they've just been participating. They had no real interest in coming and getting in the big national dance. They've shown it. All of a sudden, Oregon revitalizes themselves. Washington has their first big at bat. And then the Trojans continue to make noise. Fellas, let me read you a couple little breakdowns here of how the weekend went for the Pac-12. Oregon took on number 12 BYU after being dismantled piece by piece just 2 weeks ago by the White Walkers in Georgia. They beat them 41-20. And Clint, to your point there with the toast, outgained BYU, better on third down efficiency, big time in the fourth quarter, big win at home for the Ducks. And then Washington hosts a Big Ten power in Michigan State, undefeated Michigan State. They come in 11th ranked. So the 11th and 12th ranked teams in the country travel west of the Rockies, both get beat. Washington and their new coaching staff, new leader and their quarterback, Michael Penix, you know him from Indiana, they get a big win, 39-28. And it wasn't honestly even that close when you watch the game. It looked like they could have done anything they wanted to do out there. Of course, we've seen the Trojans, but we haven't seen the Trojans up against an opposite equal. But what we have seen, it does look scary. Fellas, how big of a weekend was it, in your opinion, for the Pac-12? Darian, we'll start with you.
I think it was very. I think particularly you look at UW coming off a 4-8 season, got a new head coach. You got my man Lake out of there, and now they kind of got some revitalized culture, energy within that building. You got a transfer quarterback from IU coming there and slinging it. I mean, throwing for 350 yards like on average. And so to me, that's a team to watch out for, especially in the Pac-12. You kind of look at their schedule. They got I feel like the Pac-12 is so iffy to me because I feel like anybody can get beat. I don't think it's a true contender or like somebody that somebody's scared of. Obviously, you got USC, you got Oregon, but I think everybody in that conference believes they can beat everybody, especially with Utah falling the way they have this year, BYU taking a loss. So I'm excited to see. To me, UW, they're 3-0. They're playing with a lot of swagger, putting up points. They have stopped people. I don't think they played a really good offense yet. So to me, that's a team to watch for. And going along with that, I'd like to see Oregon continue to bounce back from that first week at Georgia. And to me, it's going to be interesting to see how, in a good way, that loss could have been a real perspective shift for them to really get serious about the season. Not that they already weren't, but you go get smacked like that on national television, it's like, all right, like, this is going to be the story for the year, or are we going to change this thing really quickly? And you can see Bo Nix kind of getting in his groove. They're finding their way. So I feel like those teams that are watching, obviously USC. USC is the team of the year. So many transfers in with Lincoln Riley. So I think they got a lot of stuff going on. And, like, about the way they're doing their conference play this year. It's a winning percentage. So it's going to be interesting to see the two teams that kind of come up towards the end. And I'm interested to see. I think the front runners are obviously Oregon and USC. But I think somebody else could squeeze in there and make something happen too.
Clint, I agree with Darian. Sometimes a loss can teach you a lot. A dismantling can teach you a whole lot. Every man, every duck, everybody in that building, they come in beyond sober. We did all this off-season work. We did all these rallies and all these dinners and all these team bonding deals and all this stuff. We boarded the plane feeling a certain way. We rode the bus over there to Mercedes-Benz feeling a certain way, pregame a certain way, and got laid out like some carpet. Like the whole thing got dismantled.
Right.
Back to the shop we go. And like Darian said, they had 2 good weeks. I don't even know who they played the week before. Now you have another top 12 team. A lot of growth we saw out of that Oregon team. And Dan Lanning getting these guys to bow up, coming in. Were you impressed? Does it sustain for Oregon?
Yes, I was impressed because they did it in impressive fashion. Now, I didn't like what I saw when I watched the game. Dan Lanning appeared to pull the reins back a little bit, put the backup quarterback in, and start kind of playing with the opponent a little bit too early for me. He should have kept the pedal to the metal, if you know what I mean. I didn't like that. But if you just look at what Oregon's done, is one thing, guys, let's be completely honest. The easiest thing in college football to overcome in terms of the college football playoffs is a week 1 drumming by the best team in America.
That's true.
That is a non-factor if we're being completely honest to how Oregon finishes this season. Yeah. And so Oregon going out there and beating the BYU team, the one group of 5 BYU team, the one group of 5 team that I believe is going to be viewed as a Power 5 moving forward in terms of strength of schedule and quality win and all that kind of job. That was a big time win. So when you're talking about the Pac-12, right? The Pac of 12. Listen to me. I'm field of 12, Pac of 12. When you're talking about the Pac, gosh dang, I can't spit it out. The Pac-12.
Pac-12. Yep.
You got Oregon, and look, I still believe Utah's got a shot. They started out ranked high enough, and I think Florida's going to right the ship to be a middle of the pack football team to where that's going to end up being not as bad a loss as everybody thinks it was, as from an unranked football team the first season. And then Washington's getting some national recognition. So my point is, the Pac-12 has all of a sudden got not 2 players. They started with Oregon and Utah. Now all of a sudden Washington's creeped up there nationally and getting a little bit of love. And by the way, Washington State is 3-0. And so you've got some teams here that are really, really high-level teams that are going to be vying for that Pac-12 top team. And you've got some dudes a little bit lower, Washington State, that if you can beat them, those are going to be quality wins. So, look, when you look at USC, Utah, Oregon, Washington, all of a sudden the Pac-12 is a little bit more real than maybe some of us. Let me speak for myself. The Pac-12 is a little bit more of a contender than I gave them credit from jump.
We're dropping our merch. We got to start calling Underwood Daddy Brad. But I'm a big pod guy.
Breaking news. The Field of 68 has an online store, and it's your one-stop shop for the latest and greatest merch in college basketball and college football. You can find shirts to support your favorite team, make fun of your rival team, or boast Field of 68 catchphrases like Daddy Brad, Cussin' and Discussin', and the Star Heels. Go to www.fieldof68.shop today and enter promo code TOUCHDOWN for 20% off at checkout.
Yeah, 100%. Again, an undefeated Oregon State team. We're 3 weeks into the season. UCLA is making noise. Arizona making noise. Utah has seemed to kind of find their footing after going into the swamp and finding out how real Jurassic Park is. The Trojans are still lurking out there. Just stay in the conversation. For the sake of the sport, stay in the conversation. Let me ask you both quickly. If you're the commissioner of this league, is it better to have a couple of like global monsters like the Big Ten does, or all like obviously the Jurassic Park's different, but the Big Ten has a couple of teams, 3-4 teams they could dispatch anywhere and know they'll drag a carcass back? Or is it better to have parity? Which do you see as the more advantageous structure to your conference, Darian?
A great question. I think in the long term, it's better to have a monster because you're gonna have more. It will be better to have one of your teams be the more dominant team within the realm of the country aspect. Because if you get a team that makes the playoffs and makes a big New Year's Six game, that's gonna be a lot of eyeballs on the conference, and they can go win one of those games, whether a New Year's Six game or the first bowl game, or make their way to a national championship. That's automatically going to bring more eyeballs to the conference. The same way Clemson's done with the ACC. Like our conference gets a benefit of doubt sometimes because of Clemson. So I think if somebody from the Pac-12 can be that team to rise up like that 2014 UW team, or I think 2016 UW team, some of those teams that made it to the playoffs are going to be great for the conference. But as far as throughout the season, I think parity to me has more of a value if I'm a commissioner. If you can have a couple of teams that are in that ranked, because a lot of conferences they hang their hat. We got 5 teams ranked this week. We got 4 teams ranked this week. Like ACC, we got 5 teams ranked. We hold on to it for dear life. We got 5 teams ranked week 3, and the ACC, it makes our strength of schedule look better. So the Pac-12 can have, obviously they let loose of Utah, lose it to Florida. They can get some of those ranked wins. within the conference and out of the conference, I feel like it's better for the conference as a whole because they have that narrative. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
it's the Pac-12.
Clint, going with that narrative, and I'm gonna fine tune it for you. You're running the Pac-12. Do you want that one monster who, yes, they're slaying the whole conference and everybody else is a mile behind, but they have a real shot to do something in this dance? Now, when it expands, it helps everybody. But right now, it's 4. You want that one monster, or is it better to see 3 of your ball clubs make it into the New Year's 6 games?
3 ball clubs in the New Year's 6 games. Look, hey, George, I'm a firm believer in this. We talk a lot about the SEC and about the parity and about whether it's fair or it's not. And I personally hate the conversations because I think the real reason the SEC is viewed as the most powerful conference in America gets overlooked. The reality of the SEC being the best has nothing to do with Alabama and Georgia.
Right.
It has everything to do with when you look over in the East, beyond Georgia, you've got Florida. This year, you've got Kentucky. Back when I was playing, Tennessee was winning national championships. And then you look over in the West, forget Alabama. Auburn's won a national championship. I know they're shit in the bed right now, but you look at Arkansas. Arkansas is a 9 or 10 win team right now. You look at LSU. Again, I know they're shit in the bed right now, but they've won national championships.
Correct.
A&M 2 years in a row have been top 6 in the country in the preseason. They're a really good football team. So when I personally gauge the strength of conferences, for me, everybody's got a 1 and 2. Everybody's got a 1 and 2. It's about 3 through 6.
Yeah.
Year in, year out. And look, 5 and 6 may change. They may go in and out, but it's about 3 through 6. And if 3 through 6 are out there making a lot of noise, climbing in and out of the top 10, winning bowl games, being relevant in recruiting battles, that is the power of the SEC. And so that's what other conferences don't have at the moment. The Big Ten's close, but they don't have that at the moment. So I would say 3 teams bouncing in and out of the top 10, 3 teams that at the end of the year, boy, the Pac-12 is going, which one's the best, man? The Pac-12 championship, does it mean something or is it just an afterthought? Are we watching to see who gets in the college football playoffs, or is it an afterthought? It doesn't matter what happens. To me, that's the meat of what's going on here. So I'd say 3 teams that are relevant, G.
Well, I know the people here out in the West Coast, speaking as one of them, it does feel good, as they would say out here, the Empire kind of striking back. Oregon is up off the mat, showing that combo cross. Washington, you don't really know these teams, showing some flex. SC is looking like what we thought we were.
What's going on, guys? Rob Doster here, the founder of the Field of 68 and the Field of 12 Media Networks. I wanted to take a quick minute to let you guys know about an exciting new project that we have been working on for the last 3 months. The Almanac, an all-encompassing preview of the 2022-23 college basketball season. We spoke with every single Division I head coach to give you a robust and accurate preview for all 363 Division I college basketball teams. We have predictions for conference finishes for all 32 leagues. We have features on the best freshmen, the best big men, the breakout stars, the coaches on the hot seat, so much more. It is 600,000 words of sheer happiness for the college basketball fan in your life. The Almanac is going to be available for digital purchase on September 26th for just $19.99, but you can pre-order it today using the promo code HOOPS and save 20%. Just hit the link in the description below.